or on Instagram.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another live. We are here with Tom, Time to Transcend. We're going to talk about mediumship today. But while you all filter on in, I'm just going to go over what the next couple shows are on my channel coming up. So on the 23rd, so in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to have another episode of Cooking with the Kitchen Witch because you guys love that so much. So we're going to be making homemade pretzels. And then on March 9th, we have the second episode of my Coloring the Tarot series, and we're going to be talking about the Magician. And then on March 30th, we're actually going to be talking about archangels with Tanis from Twillo. So those are the next 3 shows coming up. I hope you can like and subscribe so to not miss out on those. And we're going to say hello to a couple people. So that's my mom. Hi, Mom. She says, hello, beautiful people. We have Jan Burke there as well. She says, hi, all. And we have Kathy. She says, hello, wow, favorite people. Hello. So yeah, I'm going to let Tom kind of introduce himself. Tell them a little bit, as little or as much as you like about yourself. And then we'll go into some questions. And if you guys have questions, for Tom, we're not taking any personal reading questions, but if you have questions for him about his mediumship journey, anything like that, you're more than welcome to post those in the chat and we'll get to them. So take it away.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So I'm Tom, and I'm really glad Kelly asked me to come on the channel today, the show today, and just chit chat about things. Anyway, I'm trying to put the comments up too. Oh, here's a good comment here. We got Sunshine. That's
oh yeah, hi Bobby. You were just talking about you. I think your ears were burning.
Yes, burning. Yeah, some great folks out there. I said this before, but it's really this whole YouTube thing is so great because we get to connect with a lot of people that we wouldn't be able to. We're not. Right? Some of us are in different countries, different states, so it's great. So I'm Tom. So my mediumship journey actually started about 3 years ago in a very dramatic fashion. Although I've kind of always had like really good intuition. I used to call it my gut feeling. I used to have, like dreams. I would tell people, yeah, somebody passed away and I had this dream, and I would try to explain it to them. And they're like, oh yeah, that's interesting. I said, no, like I actually had it like the person was talking to me, but I didn't connect the dots really. So about 3 years ago, I made some life changes, and ta-da, everything sort of just kicked in. So so that's kind of where everything started. It was very dramatic introduction, so to speak.
And like, did you, when I guess it first came in, like, did you kind of embrace it? Or as you said, like, was it scary and you kind of like ignored it, tried to, push it away, didn't want to?
So I wasn't really scared of it at first because I've always been, I always, would work with psychics and stuff and mediums. And
so it wasn't foreign to you.
No, it wasn't foreign to me, but I do remember a number of times in readings, well, a lot of them, when somebody would give me a reading, I would be like, I would sort of like evaluate them.
Yeah. Okay.
In some cases, they would say, you could do this. And I was really, in fact, one story was I was at out with some friends at an establishment.
Okay.
And the one guy that would come in, was a medium, and people would ask him for readings, and his other half kind of didn't like that. But I just wandered up to him and I said, hey, got anything for me? And he says, yeah, your mom's here. And I said, oh, really? This was about a year after she passed. Okay. I said, oh, really? What does she have to say? And he goes, she's mad right now. I said, she's mad? She says, why are you, she's telling you to tell me, why are you talking to me? Because you can do this yourself.
Ah, okay.
And so it kind of like clicked in me. So those are little things that were along the way. But when and I got signs, like I was seeing like certain numbers.
Okay.
I had a stereo in my RV turn on exactly at the same time, and it was at 11:19. It kept coming on like on and on, little things like that, and I find out that was a message because my mom and my sister-in-law were at our wedding, which was November of 2019.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Discover that different ways, but it didn't just click right away. You know, sometimes when you get a reading, you're like, oh, that didn't make any sense.
Yeah, and then you go back later.
Like, oh yeah, wait a minute. Let me call somebody. Yeah, that was true. That's true. So so little things like that were coming into play. And then the big thing was basically like a where everything came in. And what some people have told me what happened to me was what some people experience over a number of years. And for me, it happened like in a week.
Yeah, overnight.
Yeah, overnight. So yeah, that whole experience was just unbelievable. I remember waking up in the morning. That was a Sunday or a Monday morning. And I was like, get off Facebook, because what was happening on Facebook was triggering me.
Okay.
In not good ways. And so what I realized now was what they were trying to say is get off this. This is clouding your mind.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Get off of it. So I went off of it. And I stayed off a lot of that for a while because it's just noise, you know?
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's noise. And if you're trying to connect and everything, you can't be
distracted by other things like that. Yeah.
So, but
so we were talking a little bit backstage, but you were saying like clairaudience is one of your kind of stronger clairs. Do you have any of others that you kind of use when you're doing mediumship readings, or just like in general?
So clairaudient is becoming stronger. Clairvoyance. So for those out there that are not familiar with the term, basically you have your five senses, basic senses, and then you have, in this work, there's 8 actually of them, but the main ones that people can think of easily is clairvoyance, which is clear seeing. So you see images in your mind. For me, I see like moving pictures.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll see like so like for me, for example, when I do a reading, a lot of times, sometimes the person doesn't come in right away.
Right.
Sometimes it'll be like I'll see like a scene, like a cabin with snow and a car going down the road. And then I'll say, well, that car, and it finds out that the person that driving the car was somebody's relative that used to deliver or something.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's all so that clicks in. Now, recently with the clairaudient, which is, hearing, I'm in a reading and I'll just hear somebody. I'll hear a name. And this happened one time. I heard Ralph.
Yeah. And
I was like, okay, who's Ralph? Well, it turns out there was a relative, and then that relative came in, with more than they were. But also another thing that I get a lot is if I don't get the person's, like if it's, so for example, one of my little symbols is my grandmother's name was Rose.
Right.
So if I feel like I have a grandmother, or I think, older female, I'll hear Rose. Not that that's
okay,
but it's like a hint for me. That's the grandmother. What's happening now is I'm getting more of the name coming in of the person. But even the other day, it was like Rose right away. And I said, okay. And I said, I described it. Is this your grandmother? Yes. So it's almost like a little help, I do get help from my, some friends that have passed and family.
Yeah.
So, but,
that's awesome. Let's see. What other questions did I have? And hey, you guys that are watching right now, if you have questions for him about mediumship, put them in the chat.
Put them in the chat.
Let's see. Oh, do you find certain people easier to read, or like do you find individuals versus groups easier? Have you done a lot of group readings and stuff like that yet, or?
Yeah, so it really, I would say, it really is it's an energy thing too between oh, Richie's here. Let me put his
Yeah,
little
I
thing
just
up.
saw that. Hey, Richie.
Um, it's an energy exchange too. If somebody's coming in kind of with an open heart, open mind, um, that can be easier in some ways. Um, but it really just kind of depends on, it's also the strength of the spirit coming in,
Okay.
and also the ability of is it connecting to the medium? So is the connection being made?
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of like both. I like individual readings because I can really get into in more
Mm-hmm.
depth about things. But I really enjoy the gallery reads on my channel. In fact, my friend Kathy's in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
We've done a few shows together, and we also do group readings where we'll have
Okay.
like 5 to 8 people in a Zoom call.
Okay.
And yeah, and so it really works well because it's interesting how we can tune in together um, and kind of work off each other, but
Mm-hmm.
also uh, I enjoy the group readings too because it's just for a lot of people that haven't had this experience or aren't sure about it. If
Yeah.
there was somebody they know and they see, well, wait a minute, they're connecting, and maybe I'll get somebody, and then if they do get somebody comes in, they kind of, it makes them feel better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I think I really like the group readings. I'm looking forward to this summer or this May, I guess, which is early on in the season. My friend Kathy and I will be doing a live gallery reading for an audience.
Cool.
It won't be Zoom; it'd be like for real,
Yeah, in person. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to that. But going back to how things kind of started, what really also opened me up was Reiki.
Okay. Yep. I always joke it's the gateway drug.
Yeah, it really.
Yeah.
And another thing, and as far as Reiki goes, I've been a recipient of Reiki since the '90s.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, so in fact, my friend who's in spirit was the one that introduced me to it.
Okay.
He's also the one that came to me in dramatic fashion um, that famous week in April.
Ah.
Uh, and, so there's clairvoyance, which
Mm-hmm.
is in your mind, but then there's also just seeing spirit. And
Right.
when he came in, he was right there. Like I saw him.
Mm-hmm.
He was sitting on a bar stool with a drink and a cigarette,
Oh
laughing.
wow.
And the funny thing was, we had made a kind of a pact years ago that we said, if one of us passes, we're going to try to make contact. But
Mm-hmm.
it was 10 years. But I realized I had to
Yeah.
be in the right place for that to
Right.
happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that was another thing that happened. So there was so much that happened in that short period of time. Um, but it was really like, so I was that right after that period, then I started doing journaling and kind of
Mm-hmm.
doing automatic writing, um, inspired writing. And I was getting a lot of messages daily, like pages and pages of stuff. And that
Mm-hmm.
was really helping me develop. But it was the Reiki that really opened it up. So, and if I can share an experience, and I've shared it
Yeah, of
before,
course.
but I was in the second level of Reiki the last
Okay.
day. I was with my partner who I'd been with, and we decided who was going to go first. And the other thing was, we didn't really share with each other like ailments, or we just wanted
Right.
to see what we could pick up on. So I'm laying on the table, and she's behind me. And as soon as she kind of got close to me, I kind of felt this energy.
Mm-hmm.
And she put her hands, eventually got to the position where it's at the side of my head. And as I felt her hands, I started to see my mom as she looked when I was like little, like dark
Okay.
hair,
Yeah.
and like she was looking at me, and then these hands started to feel like her hands,
Mm.
and then I had this sense of love, but it wasn't just like love, it was like her, like she was there. I can't even describe, and then I was just so emotional. It was like,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
because earlier on, I had a session where she came through and told me she approves what I'm embarking on. So
Okay.
she didn't know what to do with me as a kid. I mean, because of me being
Right.
so sensitive and everything. But it's
Mm-hmm.
funny how she's been here now. But anyway, so she's doing the session. I'm crying during it. I'm really emotional. So we finish it up. And I turned to her and I says, well, and I didn't want to say anything yet. I said, well, what did you get? And she
Mm-hmm.
said, well, I can't describe it to you, but when I started, I felt like a spirit coming behind me,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt their hands going through my hands.
Right.
And she said, I knew it was your mother. And then I was like, started to cry. And then I really got emotional when she said, was your mother's name Vita? And I was like, yes. So,
Awesome.
so that, like in that one experience, I got clairvoyance, clairsentient,
Right. Right. Yeah.
claircognition,
Yeah.
like the whole thing.
Almost the whole thing.
I have had, my grandfather was the one that came in with the kerosene smell one time.
Mm.
Why am I smelling kerosene? And then the next day, we had a reading, and the person said, was your grandfather's name, such and such? And I was like, oh my God, that's why I was smelling kerosene. So, there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of experiences like that. But when it happens to you in a real short period of time, you really kind of like, luckily I knew about this stuff and I was
Well,
able to
yeah,
talk,
it would have scared the crap out of you otherwise, right?
because, then people think, like you're not, you can't tell everybody because they're thinking, oh,
Right.
something's, what's going on here. But that's another thing. I think that a lot of people that, it kind of goes into some things like some people who maybe are autistic and things, they have different
Right.
connections in
Races.
different
Yeah.
ways, and not everybody can understand that. So,
Yeah. I've always kind of joked with like friends and stuff like that, and my teachers, like, if we weren't in the middle of this, we'd all think we'd gone crazy. Like some of the stuff that happens, like synchronicities, signs, just like all this stuff, sometimes you're just like, if I wasn't aware of all this stuff going on, I would think I was losing my mind some days.
yeah,
But
I mean, like,
yeah.
that's the thing is like,
If you
having people talk.
scroll back up, there was one question. Up, if you scroll up to where Richie
Oh,
was, it was in Boulder. Yeah,
oh, okay. Do you find you forget the messages after you are done? Yes.
yeah. I was gonna.
So people always, and the thing is, it's funny because when I used to get readings and then I would go back to the same person, I'd say, well,
Right.
don't they remember what? No, because I mean,
Mm-mm.
sometimes if someone will say, yeah, I remember, I'll say, oh yeah, I remember that. But it's so much knowledge coming in,
Yes.
and you're just like with Reiki, you're a conduit for the energy.
Mm-hmm.
You're a
Mm-hmm.
conduit for the messages. And, like you might see like a cotton candy machine or whatever, and you're thinking, well, I don't know what that means. Well,
Right.
it's not for me.
Right.
It's for
Yeah.
the
You're
person.
you're not supposed to filter it. You're just supposed to pass on the message. Yeah.
Right. So you don't really remember, unless it's, of course, if there's a reading that really, was pretty impactful or something, maybe a little bit, but really you don't remember, I can't remember the readings that I've done,
Yeah.
even this last week. So, um,
Yeah, anytime that I've done any channeling or anything, I found that the same way, that like typically they'll let me kind of keep my wits about me, so to speak. So that in the time that I'm saying it, I'm remembering it, but like as soon as it's done, it's gone. like somebody please record this or write this down because I'm not going to remember later unless they
yeah.
want me to.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times what I think over the years, I had readings and I wish I could have recorded them.
Right. That's what's
You
nice
know,
about Zoom and stuff. Now we can do that.
right. and I use a lot with so I my inspired writing and automatic writing is
Yes.
now, yeah, that's transferred now into channeling.
Okay.
So what I do is I use my voice recorder on my phone,
Oh, okay.
and I'll start getting messages um, the same way I do with the writing, but I just speak it.
Right. Yeah.
So different things come through um, that way, and so if you take a look at my channel, which is at time at Tom Time to Transcend,
Yeah.
I have a lot of shorts on there. And what the shorts are is so I get messages almost every day. Now today didn't get a new message because I was doing something else, but
Yeah. Yeah.
usually I get a message and then I post the message and it's not just a message for me, it's for like everybody.
Yeah. A
And I turn
collective.
it
Yeah.
yeah, a collective message, and then I turn it into a short. Um, so I use just short video clips and I post them. And really, I think if I could kind of like the overall messages that I've been getting is love.
Yes. Yeah.
Love conquers all. Love more, fear less, peace, working together, um,
Hmm.
commonality, um, some really, like when I reposted one because I hadn't done it I have Instagram as well, and it was something about the unknown becomes known when you're open, basically.
Yes.
So,
I loved
you know,
that one. Yeah.
and so, and I thought, not to get into like what's happening right now, but I thought that was kind of appropriate
Yes.
because I
I
think
agree.
sometimes people they see something they don't know and like, I don't want to pay attention to that. But what they don't
Yeah.
realize is, and I used to say this um, when I was working, I used to tell, the students, I would say, we have more in common than we have differences.
It's
There's
true.
way more in common. I mean, you get past the language and the culture and stuff, but when you get down to the brass
Hmm.
tacks, it's, there's some basic things that are in common. And when you can find those about people, you can make, connections, and then you learn too, because then you
Right.
learn about
Yeah.
the uniqueness. So,
Well, that's what amazed me. Like you and I met in Sedona when I went to my retreat in Sedona, along with a bunch of other people in the chat. But like you said, like if we had gone into that retreat being like, I don't know who you are, I'm never gonna connect with you, we're just gonna stay in our own little, spots, our own little world. That retreat would have been a very different. I think the fact that we were just also just like open and welcoming, and that like the energy in that space, especially when we'd get the full group of us together, it was a little bit actually almost too intense for me some days, but
yeah,
um
you know what? Do you remember that the last session we were next to each other?
yes, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember, if I remember correctly, some of us were really out of it. Like,
Oh
we
yeah,
had,
I was gonna freak.
they were like, we're over. This is ending now.
Like, no, I don't want to.
Yeah, that was really amazing. I was lucky to go to both of the retreats.
Okay.
And then I stayed and did the Reiki there as well. So a shout out to Kevin Lewis and Jeffrey Peck
Yes.
and Debbie Hedberg. So yeah, just amazing opportunity. And for those that are listening, and if you have an opportunity to, to go to a retreat or even to
Yes.
something in your area, please go, because
Hmm.
it's just an amazing experience. It just makes you realize there's other people like you.
Right. Yes. Yeah. The community piece is, as you said, like even with the messages you've been getting, community is huge. It's a huge piece.
Oh, we got a question here from Kathy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
She says, do you find that you are more sensitive to earth and collective energies now? Like the more that you kind of, like, I guess, expanded your gifts, do you find you're just more sensitive?
yeah, which is kind of even laughable because I've always
Yeah.
been sensitive. Like Going
Yeah,
back to
well, yeah, exactly. Like, what kind of like measure are we talking about here?
I can just hear her. She used to say, "You're so sensitive. You can't have an animal because you can't handle it." I had a guinea pig, the last big animal. That was the biggest animal I ever had. I remember when when it died, and I was probably like 14 or something.
Okay.
I was just devastated. She says, "That's it. We're not having any more animals. Can't handle it." So yeah, it's like another thing too, going back is being with somebody or with friends in a group, and you walk into a restaurant.
Okay,
Have
yes.
this one, and you're like, no, we can't stay here.
Yes, it gets to be just too much. Yeah.
Or they're like, what's wrong with this place? I don't know, but we have to go somewhere else. But as far as the energies go, talking to some, like with Kathy and some of the folks that are in our, we know, we'll talk to each other the next day, and we're like, how did you, how were you? How did you do last night?
Yeah.
Oh my God, my ears were just ringing, or what time did you? I woke up at 2:30. I woke up at 2:45. Like, so much going on right now. I mean, just from and then this is not just like woo-woo wonderment. This is, really like if you look at the solar flares and the energy, and the one thing that I know we look at is the Schumann resonance.
Yep.
So, and that's, that's data. That's like not just something making something up. So there's a lot of earth, there's a lot of earth changes. There's like earthquakes, there's volcanoes, there's floods. There's a lot more of that right now. And it's like the earth's really cleansing itself.
Right. Yeah. I've heard people talk about it like that. Yeah. Well, and actually what's interesting is asking about, like, you were talking about solar flares and stuff like that. So prior to like getting on my spiritual path, I would be like, let's say sitting at work, just working on my computer, nothing's going on. And all of a sudden I just have this like anxiety panic attack come out of nowhere. Well, one of the first things, I was talking to my mentor about it when I was first starting to see her. And I said, like, this is happening. All these feelings are happening when I'm at work. And she's like, oh, like, maybe it's the solar flares. And so I actually put an app on my phone that like alerts me to when the solar flares are happening. And I started to be like, okay, I'm sitting at my desk working. Oh my God, I'm feeling that panic, anxiety attack kind of feeling come on. I'd go look at my phone. It's like, solar flare, so I was able to actually, instead of being like, I need to be on medication for anxiety, for panic, for whatever, I was actually able to be like, oh, it's because of the solar flares. It's not mine. And so that actually helped me kind of be able to, and be like, oh, it's, I don't need medication. It's just the earth and my body reacting to the earth. And so, yeah, that talking about like that extra sensitivity. Yeah. So, and I've, personally for myself, I found like the more I've worked on my gifts and stuff has come forward, the more sensitive I'm getting. So for people asking, I guess for me, that's what it's been like for me. But oh yeah, I loved what Richie said here. He says, I feel like now I understand why I'm so sensitive, which has allowed me to lean into it instead of pulling back from it. Yeah, there's nothing to be, I guess, ashamed of. Because I feel like at least, not amongst our group, but like the wider kind of, I guess, society, some of the stuff that we see as gifts or, we've been told to be like proud of is kind of, to look down upon, I guess, or like not seen as being socially acceptable. So yeah, I love that, Richie. I'm so glad.
Yeah. And, I was just thinking about that. This whole thing is, think about it. Everyone has like an older relative, even over the years, or maybe not so old, who will say, oh man, my arthritis is really bothering me right now. And it's because of there's a storm coming, or I feel it in my bones. Well, that's all the same thing. I mean, it really is. So, like, the old goosebumps. When you get, if you're doing a reading and you're, really connecting, and all of a sudden you have this chill, it's in the exact moment where you've really made a connection. Well,
yeah, there's those tells, right? Yeah, Kathy, yeah, you agree. You can feel it before the alert hits your phone. Yep, a lot of the time I can actually. Well, and it'll be funny too because in my office, like I have a fairly small like office where I work. There's like maybe 12 of us if the office is full. And there'll be people being like, "Oh, I'm in pain or like I'm sick," and I can actually kind of see the collective within my office where they'll be like complaining about something and I'm like look at the Schumann, it's 100 and whatever, like no wonder you're hurting right now, your pain, your joints are hurting or your whatever. It's just really funny to kind of see that they're kind of in that unaware, but it's kind of nice to be able to kind of be outside of that and be like, that's what's going on. I see.
Oh, I just wanted to say, I actually put this on live on Instagram. So I went over to the screen. So we have 3 people logged into Instagram. So I want to say hi to them. So if you guys on Instagram have any comments or questions, you can put them in the comments and I can see them. I just have to scroll over to my other. I have 2.
Tom's the IT person today. We're simulcasting on his channel, so
which is not I'm not that good at that, but I'm managing here. So
you're doing great. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Jen, that you're experiencing a lot of anxiety lately. I think some of that is collective, honestly. As Tom was kind of saying, like all the stuff that's been going on lately, we all feel it. Even if you don't like sit and watch the news or have it on your phone, you're still gonna feel it.
Yeah, and go ahead.
So yeah, once you lean into it, it's easier to manage in public as well. Yeah, because then at least you're aware and know, like, I need to tube before I go out. I need to put some energetic shielding up before I go out, or coming home, clearing yourself after.
And that's actually a really good thing to mention. A lot of people. So I have a mediumship kind of club started.
Okay.
At one of the stores I do Reiki at, and so we've had a couple classes, and this has come up in other groups too, but about feeling a lot,
Right.
feeling things like, and it basically like, it means you're an empath. And so, which is a good thing because you can, you really feel people and you get to know people, but you also have to be able to, like, again, like you said, prepare for that, because you don't need to take all that energy in.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody's, it's one thing to identify with them, but there's another thing to start for it to kind of become part of you. Yeah. Because then you're walking away, and that happened to me a lot. I would get into situations, and I couldn't let it go.
Right. Yeah.
I would just ruminate about it. This person did this and this person did that. And you're like, let it go. And I can't let it go because I felt it so deeply.
Yes.
So I don't do that anymore. Yeah. I think part of that too was a lot of us, I think because of that, we're people pleasers.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a typical thing. And I still like to be nice to people and all that. But when it takes away from who you are, that's not a good thing. So.
Well, and speaking of being an empath, one of the questions I was going to ask you is, and I think you and I have just talked about it backstage or when we've talked, but like physical mediumship, like, do you experience that at all? Or does it tend to be just more the clairaudience, clairvoyance? Do you get like the physical kind of symptoms and stuff?
So I think there's 2 parts to this question, I think.
Yeah.
So for those out there that are not familiar, the mediumship that most people know is mental mediumship.
Correct.
Where you're interpreting the pictures or the symbols or the smells or the feeling for the sitter. And then there's physical mediumship, which is really, really rare. Not a lot of people do that. And then there's also trance mediumship, where the spirit comes into your etheric field and then they're actually speaking through you. Right. Now, I think what you're asking is the physical, like, sensations. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, in a reading like this, I can give you one perfect example.
Yeah.
I was in a reading and the person came through and said a few things and tried to figure out who it is. And all of a sudden I had this headache, like right here.
Okay.
And I heard stroke. So I said,
Okay.
did this person that we believe it is, did they have a stroke? And I said, yes. And I said, and then I heard then I felt like, then it was more like I felt understood, like, did they have a heart problem that contributed, blah, blah, blah? Yes. But
yes.
I felt that in my head.
Right.
Some of the people I've worked with says, you shouldn't let that happen. You shouldn't let that feeling happen. But on the other hand, if, you can't hold on to it. Sometimes in a Reiki session, I'll do something and then I'll get the sensation like they have I don't know, like a hip problem or something. I'm feeling
your hip will hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then, but, and I guess if not really a physical thing, but the clairalience or the smell. A lot of people will sit here this, like after there's somebody's grandmother will pass away. They'll say, oh, I smelled the cologne. I smelled or perfume. Sorry, perfume.
Oh, good.
And, they're like, yeah, that's what it is. And like for me, I give the example of my grandfather who, for some reason, just loved kerosene. He would kerosene this, kerosene that, and I smelled kerosene, and it was like so obvious. Smoke a lot of times. Have you ever experienced
cigarette smoke? Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I had a dramatic experience with that one. I had a friend pass away. Really, she was like a second mom to me.
Okay.
This is way back. See, this is when I remember things that happened. This was back in 2007, and it was downpour. It was raining outside, and it was like nobody was outside. And all of a sudden, the house started smelling from cigarette smoke, like big time. And I go, what's going on? And then I went outside, and nobody's outside smoking.
Yeah.
I came inside, and I said, "Oh yeah, that was Betsy. That was her." So, she loved to smoke. So
okay,
that was her calling card. So those things come in a lot, but yeah, it's just interesting how the stuff's communicated in different ways. But
yes, yeah, they always find a way.
and saying I get cigarette for some people. Oh, I got
and then Diane popped in. Hi Diane.
Hey.
Oh, and I wanted to show Jan, if you're interested, I will pull this up on my phone here. But the app is, I don't know if how well you'll be able to see it with the screen, but it's called Space Weather. That's what it looks like. It's an app you can put on your phone, and it actually you can set it up to notify you of the different like solar flares and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So if you're interested, it's a free app. And you can just download it and set it. You can set the different settings to be like only notify me if it's over, such and such a level. But yeah, it might help you out. Just kind of see if there's seems to be a trend with your anxiety spiking and us having solar flares.
I did want to just give a little shout out to my channel, if that's all right.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm trying to get to 200 subscribers.
Ooh.
I had a goal I think I'm at 179 or 180. So if you're not familiar, if YouTube and as well as for Callie's channel, Woo Woo Wonderment, if you want to subscribe, all you have to do is hit subscribe. It's free, and the more subscribers we get, then the more we're able to reach people. So if you like the program, press the like button, but send the subscribe button. And then also on my channel, and Callie posted it on hers too, if you go to my website, which is timetotranscend.com, all my links are there for Instagram and all that stuff. So
and you do readings, you do Reiki sessions, right? I all the information is in the description of my video. So for those of you that are on my channel, you can go check that out. But
yeah, so I do Reiki sessions, in person and where I live and stuff, but I do them online. And then I also do readings. And then I also, what I offer some folks is a Reiki reading combination.
Okay.
So it's a little longer. I think it's about an hour and 45 minutes. So, which is nice because a lot of times, even if I'm not trying, even when I do regular Reiki, I'll say,
right. Some things will come in.
Are you okay with that? 9
Yeah.
times out of 10, people say, actually more than that, say yes. The funny thing is, some people come back for the Reiki, but they actually want to hear from their grandma.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So, but and the other thing that we're offering, so with my friend Kathy, is that if you're interested in a group session, like 5 to 8 people would want to get together, just email me. The information is on the website, and we can set up a Zoom call for like 5 to 8 people, and it's very economical.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's like inviting somebody to your
right.
living room.
Well, and that's nice is that you can be all across, as you said, all across the country and tuning in. Like, you don't, if you have family, you know, that's coast to coast, you could all come in on the one Zoom call and not even have to be sitting in the same room.
Yeah, and
that's awesome.
You know, I think it's really, I can't even describe it, but I know this is going to sound cliche, but the one thing I like about this work is just letting people know there's something else beyond this 3D world. Because a lot of people, for a lot of reasons, have thrown out different belief systems because of rejection or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're not, you know, all I say is like, just there's something else out there. There's more than this world. And also just connecting with that person, knowing that they're okay. They're more than okay. Like, they're doing great.
Yeah.
I think they feel for us because we're
like, I feel like that sometimes. Yeah.
We gotta pay the bills, and we have to, you know, all this stuff we don't like to do sometimes, but.
We had a couple more questions there. So there's one up above from Kathy, where she said, for each of you, she says, well, who is your favorite spirit so far that you've brought through? So do you want to answer first, or do you want me to go ahead?
You go ahead.
So I've not done a lot of, as far as like the mediumship stuff goes. I mean, I guess I could talk about what happened at Sedona, because I guess in theory I was bringing somebody through who just wasn't aware I was. But I have channeled various guides and stuff like that when working with my mentor. But as far as actually like doing mediumship, when we were actually at Sedona, I don't know, those of you that are in the chat that were there, you'll know what I'm talking about. But we had the mediumship dinner. And while we were there, so we're eating dinner, I was fine. And then we got to the dessert course, and I started feeling really sick all of a sudden. I started getting tingling down the sides of my jaw and down my neck. So I can, a lot of the time, is like, even getting Reiki, I can feel the energy moving, and it comes across as like tingling a lot of the time along my jaw and stuff like that, or down my hands, down my legs, all that kind of stuff. And so I was like, okay, you know, like, what's going on? I'm not feeling great. I'm going to leave. Maybe it's just like too much energy. There was 40 of us in that room, 40 something of us. So anyway, so I'm like, I'm going to go take a breather. But while I was sitting out in the main area, I started feeling like I needed to gag, which is my body's way of processing energy. Anyway, so JJ, who was there, you guys remember her, came out and checked on me. And she really said, she's like, what's coming? Where's this coming from? And I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, well, is it yours? And I'm like, I don't know. Cause I still am kind of learning that, like, what's mine, what's not mine. Anyway, long story short, I was able to kind of at least get the nausea to go away, which was kind of the worst part of it. I'm like, the tingling I can deal with. It's the, like, wanting to like get rid of my dinner I just ate. That was not so fun. And so I sit back down, and at that point, Kevin, Debbie, and Jeffrey were going to start doing their readings. And so where I was sitting, I was at Jeffrey's table, and Jeffrey's like, okay, I'm going to start. I've had this person nagging at me for the last like half hour, and it ended up being Ron's father that came through. So where I was sitting next to Michelle, his wife, and Ron was sitting directly behind me. And so anyway, so like, he got his reading, and I turned to Michelle after his reading's over, and I was like, how did his dad die? Because like because at this point, once the reading was over, all the feeling went away. Like all the sensations I was feeling went away. And so I asked her, I'm like, how did he die? And she's like, oh, like old age. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to leave it for now. I don't want to interrupt everybody else's readings. I'll talk to her after. And so after everybody else's readings were done, I turned to her and I said, the reason why I ask is, and then like explained all the symptoms I was having physically. And it ended up being that he had Parkinson's. And basically by the time he had passed away, he was having trouble like breathing and swallowing, which is, yeah. Hi, Michelle. Yeah. So yeah, it was just, so I guess that would be the most interesting thing I've brought through so far. So I know I've been told, much like you, Tom, I've been told by other people that it's something I could be able to do. But that was the first time actually having physical, like the physical mediumship stuff come in. So that was a new first experience for me, a new experience for me. Yeah, it was. So yeah, that's my story. Long story short.
Yeah. So two people come to mind. So recently in a group, Lady Diana came to me.
Oh, cool.
But when I started, so just back up for a second.
Yeah.
When all this started, I was getting every relative that has passed away.
Okay.
And it was really cool. Like I would, it was like this day, next day. And then there was a period where nobody was coming. And then I heard you can call in who you want.
Ah, okay. So instead of having a wait list, you just were like, you can see whoever you want to see.
Yeah. So, different people, different things. And so I'm a big fan of old Broadway.
Okay.
And old movies and stuff. And so, and some of these people would start coming to me. One was Mae West,
okay.
Who I didn't know a lot about, but I would get these things coming to me, like showing me tell me this is really you. And then she'd give me some crazy hint that was way out there.
Yeah, nobody would know. Yeah.
I would type it in ChatGPT, and sure enough, it clicked. Well, yeah. I'm a big fan of Ethel Merman, big Broadway star. For those who aren't familiar, had a very unique singing style. Mm-hmm. And anyway, so she came to me with something I didn't know about her. Well, this morning, now that I'm just remembering this morning I channeled her.
Okay.
I wrote down, I just pulled it up what I got. So I got, people never really understood me. They always saw me on stage as one person, but they never saw me as the other person, who I really was. I called it as I saw it, but that didn't mean that I didn't care about people, because I did. Many people received cards, and she goes on and on talking about this. And some of the stuff I didn't know about, like people say, well, you're a fan of hers. I looked it up and it was like, it all checked, because I knew it was her. I felt her. She actually came through a session with another person, and we didn't know who it was. I was like, who is this person? And she goes, I go, do they have a name? She goes, yeah, I'm getting a name like last name like Mur something. I go, oh okay.
Yeah.
So, but that was pretty cool. But that was kind of funny. But really, the Lady Diana thing was recent, and it was a really good message about peace and how we're going to get through all this stuff happening right now. Yeah, there's, it's funny because you ask these questions and there's so many things, and I haven't been doing it that long. So, you get, there's a lot more going to be happening, but, just if anybody's getting like, they get the tingles or they, don't be afraid of that,
No.
Find somebody that you can talk to, maybe not your doctor, but, talk to somebody that you can kind of get some ideas about it, because it isn't anything, it's usually a relative that just wants to make contact, or I have a friend that likes to play jokes and do weird things, and like finding coins and all that stuff. So those are all, hearing the song on the radio when you're thinking about somebody.
Yes. Songs are huge. Yeah. they'll, as you said, yeah, they'll communicate through the songs. I have a friend that passed that loves to play with my hair. So like, for example, like why we've been talking about halfway through the show here, I started feeling like almost like fingers doing this on my hair. And it's always my right side, and I always know it's her.
It's your right side. So when this is where it's almost like it starts turning on. So I get like a buzzing feeling on my right side when if I'm connecting with somebody. So it's interesting, there's nothing to be scared about. It's
open and curious.
Yeah.
I have a friend that's her motto. She's always like open and curious. So I try and go about things with that motto.
Yeah, that's a lovely sign.
Jan. I like Jan's comment up above that. Some of those signs people can get a little weird about it. Just a little bit. I mean, if there's actually something going on, like if you're in physical pain, like, yes, it can be energetic, but please also go see your doctor just to make sure it's nothing else more serious. But
yeah,
definitely.
This is for, just so you know, everybody, this show
entertainment
is purposes only. We're not doctors. If you have a medical problem, please go see a doctor. But, if you're just getting goosebumps when you hear a song and you kind of wonder, just talk to somebody about that, maybe.
Seek a second opinion.
Right. So,
and as you said, be open to those signs, and it can be anything. Like for example, today I was driving home and I got to the stoplight near my house. I looked down at my odometer and it was 111 111. And I've been having a really tough week. And so to have that just happen at that moment, I was just like, thanks guys. Or, like the clock, seeing 222 or 333. Always just kind of acknowledge them. I don't know if you've ever gotten they say pennies from heaven, but you'll just be walking along and there's a penny on the ground or a dime or,
I got one today, actually.
Oh, did you?
In the subway, and I found it. And it was heads up, which is my little thing. I picked it up. Yeah. If it's tails, I'd throw it out and then somebody else gets it. But I haven't looked at the date yet. But, I had a relative come to me with just visions of pennies. Right. Come to find out that they collected pennies.
Right.
But yeah, pennies and coins, feathers, all those kind of things. Yeah, I could I just thought of another story, but that's for another time. My grandmother rubs my forearm, feels like someone is blowing on it.
Yes, that's exactly the feeling. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, well, my mom was saying too, I did channel one of my cousin of mine. I did channel her for her. Passed on a message. Oh,
that's cool.
I forgot about that.
The thing is, you do it and then you forget, because there's so many things. But the thing is, though, obviously, is your mom there? Is that who wrote the comment?
Yeah, that's my mom. Yeah.
Obviously, she remembered, and I'm sure who received it remembered it more because it was meant for them.
Right. Yeah.
Another thing that people will come and they'll say, well, I want to hear from, Aunt
Yes.
Doris and Uncle Bill. Well, it may not be those that come through. It's usually related to something in your, if something's going on in your life, the message will be related to that. And it usually comes from, at least this is my experience, will come from somebody that will be able to make an impact in that particular area. So, but sometimes though people will come, wanting to have somebody come through and that exact person comes through.
Right.
It just depends really. But it's interesting. And a funny thing is I always like being around older people and a lot of them are passed. So I get to still be around them. I get to.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Somebody came through and said, I'm one of these gals grandfathers. And I was like, nobody says gals anymore, like old fashioned
Yeah.
language will come through. So, but.
And like, do you find that like being, I guess, a medium or doing mediumship has kind of changed your view of death? Like I find, like, it's sad when a friend or a family member passes away and you do grieve, but I find like I don't necessarily miss them because I'm like, they're still here. They're still hanging around. My friend's still playing with my hair. So she's still, we're still interacting. So, there's
Yeah. So, it's when somebody young dies, that's a whole different story.
Yes.
And even when somebody older dies, it's somebody that's, of course it's a lot for the family to do it. But, this is going to sound, well, nothing's going to sound weird here.
No.
I've been to funerals now.
Yes.
With this, and the person has come to me beforehand. I had somebody come to me less than 24 hours after they had passed.
Okay.
One came to me in the funeral and was telling me jokes while I was at the casket.
Of course.
I couldn't tell anybody about it.
Right.
One day I will, but I was like, why are you doing this like right now? And then they had a message that I had to deliver. I said, why do I have to do this?
Right.
This has happened several funerals I've been at. Or if somebody passes, I was out with some friends and we had a friend that passed, and this other friend's an empath, and he starts getting all these goosebumps.
Yeah.
And, I think so-and-so's behind us, and then, it was like, it's interesting how that happens. But as far as a different feeling on death, of course I want to do what I can in this life. We all come down to do what we need to do. But, I know this is going to sound weird, but I don't really fear death.
Yes.
I when it's my time, it's my time. And I know there's a whole other thing to get to, and I have a lot of work. Another thing is, this is funny. I had a relative come through, and he was talking to me and about what he was doing or something. And it was actually in a reading. Somebody was giving me a reading. And he said, tell Tommy that isn't fee la la up here. We actually have jobs to do. So one thing I like to do is, so I was like, that's exactly how he would say it. But I ask, and sometimes I get a reading, I'll say, what are you doing over there? Like, what kind of work are you doing?
Yeah.
So people say, well, like if somebody committed suicide, they're working with people who transition from suicide, or somebody was an alcoholic, transitions people that died as an alcoholic, or whatever.
Yeah.
They have jobs like that. So, wait, what is the comments here? I think we're missing some comments. Oh, Jan says, oh yeah, funerals are fun.
Yeah.
That sounds weird to a lot of people because that's not appropriate, but as soon as you pass, your spirit's out of your body. And sometimes if somebody's like in dementia, or they're actually halfway, or if they're in an accident, sometimes their spirit's out of their body before the accident even happens.
Right.
So, but we got some other comments here.
Yeah, my mom was saying, when I was doing the channeling of my cousin, she said I was writing even though my eyes were closed, and that's where you're talking about like automatic writing, for example.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, Jan's laughing.
What's funny about that is like the writing with my eyes closed. I have some kind of talent that I can write straight lines while my eyes are closed while I'm channeling, and like perfectly straight lines. I don't know how I manage it, but it's a talent apparently.
I've actually done that too, and I think it's from years. I write in cursive, and I'll do that like if I have a dream and I have a pad of paper. I'll just write down.
Yeah.
But this is a little thing I came up with, and it works. At least it works for me. If you have a dream and you're like, you don't really want to wake up, think as you're like in the dream, think of 3 things in the dream: the place, the person, and what's happening. Not the whole dream, just those 3 things, and write down like those 3 things. Go back to sleep because
it'll help you remember it.
You'll remember it. But it's got to be 3 things. That's what I found out. If it's just a person, it's not enough. It's a person, place, and a thing, like what you're doing.
Interesting. I might have to try that.
So
yeah, Jen was saying my sister-in-law's mother started talking to me at her funeral. Will she ever talk to me? And that's the thing too, is like they are completely different people that sometimes when they were here on Earth, they don't have that like human filter. That's what I've heard anyway, that like a lot of the time that they kind of see maybe like if they were, you know, I don't know, example, like a narcissist here on Earth, that once they pass, that isn't necessarily like they're not like that once they're in that spirit form. So that's kind of interesting.
I was going to say, I'm starting to see funerals as a celebration of the life lived. I say this, I think we should change rest in peace to rest in life.
Yeah.
Because it's not even really resting. They're in a whole nother life. They're back to their, you know, so it isn't like, you know, I think as a kid, you think, oh, they're just sleeping, you know, they're just doing, they're back to doing what they were doing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. She said the laugh was everything all Fifi la.
Yeah. Oh, that's exactly how he would talk too. In fact, he's come to me a lot. He came to me the other day, which was interesting because the reading that I was doing was about somebody who was a musician.
Okay.
So, and it was interesting because the stuff that was coming through was related to, anyway, it's interesting how this is all connected. It's interesting.
Oy, bless me. And then, yeah, that's true too. They also don't have the human stresses anymore. That's very, very true.
No. So,
well, Tom, thank you so much for coming on today. Yeah. If you guys have any, I guess, questions, or you want to book a reading with Tom or a Reiki session with Tom, all his details, if you're on my channel, on my Woo Woo Wonderment channel, will be in the description of the video down below. Tom, I think on your channel, you have it linked probably in the bio, in the description of your channel, if you're looking to get a hold of him. For those of you that weren't here at the beginning, please subscribe to both our channels. I do have a couple of shows coming up. I come on every 2 weeks. So the next show is on the 23rd of February, and we're doing another episode of Cooking with the Kitchen Witch because you guys love that so much. So we're actually going to be making fresh pretzels from scratch. I have a pretzel recipe from when I was back in high school, and so we're going to pull out that recipe and make some pretzels. Oh, cool. March 9th is the next show after that, which is going to be the next card in our Coloring the Tarot series. So we're going to learn about the magician. So you guys can come and hang out and just have a good time, chat, have some fun. And then March 30th, I'm really looking forward to this show. March 30th, we're actually going to be talking about all the different archangels with Tanis from Twillo Lifestyle. So I am so grateful for all of you being here. I'm so grateful for Tom for being here. I hope you guys all... Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to add one more thing. Kathy and I will be on Allie's channel, at Heart Soul Connected, on this coming Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be doing readings.
Oh, perfect.
So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, I'll send me the link once it's all set up, and I'll make sure to share it on my channel too, so you guys can go watch that and maybe get a reading.
So, well, thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun.
You're welcome. And everybody else have a great night, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.